All right, welcome to MTS After Dark. This is our first episode. This is going to be like a little mini podcast, non-scripted, just kind of bullshitting about all kinds of like weird paranormal, aliens, conspiracy theory topics. We got Fernie Sanders with us tonight. How you doing, Fernie?
I'm doing good. How are you, drunk?
I am good. All right, so tonight we're talking about the Mothman. We did go to the Mothman Festival last year, so we'll start with that. What were your thoughts on the festival overall?
I thought it was really fun. There was a lot there, just cryptid wise, not just Mothman.
Hmm.
What did we see? What was the other cryptid that they had in the cage there?
I
I
don't
can't
remember,
remember.
but I didn't push my
A
way through
hodag.
the
A
hodag.
hodag.
Yes, Scoob pushed his way through a bunch of children to get to the front.
To see the hodag.
The
Yes.
hodag exhibit. So, yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
was it was fun.
Mothman thicker than a snicker.
So you got your picture taken with Mothman. How was that?
It was magical. I got my face right up in there.
I don't really get the appeal. The statue's kind of cool, but the line literally just to get pictures, it was like in front, lined all the way to the street, behind Mothman to get pictures of his ass, lined all the way to the other side of the street.
It's because they gave Mothman a dump truck. That's why it's so popular.
I don't know. It was a little degenerate at time. I saw many people take pictures like spreading Mothman's butt or kissing Mothman's ass. It was a little but people were having fun, so you can't really judge.
But you also have to think they also bring him offerings so he won't curse them. And they always bring beans for some reason. I don't understand that one. But then they get to donate all that food to like local food banks and stuff, which is really nice.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the museum itself?
Cheesy. It looks like, what's the best way to describe it? It looks like if you said the theme of this year's English fair is Mothman.
Hmm?
So make as many posters about Mothman as you can.
I mean, I kind of knew my sisters had went before me and told me it was fairly small, but it wasn't as small as I thought it would be. They have a lot of memorabilia about like movie stuff, which was weird. I guess not weird, but different. But
But
they
it was
had
it
they
was
had like
it was
newspaper
weird
articles and stuff.
memorabilia though.
Yeah,
It was like here's a cup that Richard Gere drank out of. Like it's a weird memorabilia.
yeah, it's a little weird. But it was packed. I mean, like when we got there fairly early, and the line to go in the museum was already on the other side of the road. So it's I don't think it's something I would go want to go to every year just because it's such a small town and it's
Yeah.
so crowded. But I think it's something you can go to every couple of years and check out. What were your thoughts on all the vendors they had?
I thought it was really fun. We bought a lot of fun like cryptid themed things. We
Mhm.
bought a welcome sign for the house that is decorated like Mothman.
Yeah,
Um, Lots of stickers and T-shirts, and of course they have like every fair carnival food imaginable, which is really what I was there for.
yeah, and they had like a live band and stuff playing
I
throughout the
forgot about
day.
that. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, the mountain monster guys were
yeah,
there.
the Mountain Monster. You wouldn't go get your picture taken with is it
No, I was
Jeff?
embarrassed. Yeah, I was embarrassed. Jeff's my favorite.
They had him in like a weird corner though. They had him like
In
two
like an
tables,
alleyway.
like an alleyway against the brick wall with a couple of tables
Yeah.
set up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, no, I was embarrassed. I don't do stuff like that.
the guy who got busted with crystal meth wasn't there though. So
No, he
yeah.
wasn't.
Okay, so what's you did a little research on Mothman. As we said, this is unscripted. We're not doing a whole lot of research behind it. It's supposed to just be like a little bullshit session. So where does the Mothman come from?
So basically, from what I've seen, the first reported sighting of him was from a group of teenagers who were out just driving around and they saw him. Well, I won't say him. We don't want to gender the Mothman.
Mothman's a guy. It's okay.
You don't know that. He could be androgynous.
Yeah,
We don't
okay.
know. He's a cryptid. He doesn't have to have a gender. But
Okay.
anyways, so they saw him standing in the road and they like drove around him and he followed them and was like flying and they were driving really fast and he was like swooping on their car and they finally lost him. And then they got back to town and were like, what the fuck was that? So they drove back and they didn't see him again, I don't think.
Isn't there
And
a
then
story about
random
like a Mothman landing on somebody's car and like trying to rip the hood off or the like top of the car off?
there are so many stories. Basically, he like terrorized this tiny community in Point Pleasant for forever. Um, and then he was like a harbinger of doom.
Hmm.
And on December 15th, it was like 1960 something, I
Yeah,
think. They saw him at a bridge. They claim that they saw him flying around a bridge,
yeah.
and then the bridge collapsed, and there were lots of deaths and injuries in that.
Lots of death.
And then they haven't seen him since.
The Mothman.
Oh, we got Kodiak and Scoob in here. What are you guys doing?
What's up?
We're doing a little
And-
mini podcast about the Mothman.
Oh, sweet.
Perfect. I was listening.
All right.
What do you know about the Mothman, Scoob?
I know that the lines are long in West Virginia. That's it for the festival.
Festival was it was very packed.
Yes.
All right,
Lots
so
of BO.
yes, yeah, there was some weirdos there, but I mean, if you're going to go to something like that, you have to expect a bunch of weirdos. But yeah, so Fernie, we got what's with this bridge thing? I know he's like a harbinger of doom or something.
So people would say that like when they saw him, like bad things would happen in their life shortly after.
Mm-hmm.
Like deaths or injuries or things like that would happen in their lives. And then apparently they saw him flying around the bridge like several times, and somebody even said that they saw him flying around the bridge like the day of the event. So they're and nobody has seen him since. So they're like, did he cause the bridge collapse? Was he trying to warn people about the bridge collapse? You know, nobody has so no, I don't even say verified, but they're like credible people have seen him since.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't know if he caused it or if he was trying to prevent it.
Yeah, okay. Well, first off, thanks to Scoob and Kodiak for showing up. I'm going to break my foot off at each of your asses next time I see you. But yeah, so is there other incidents where he does something like that? Like this like warning of like shit's about to go down?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Because all I hear about is like the big
Can
bridge. Because like a bunch of people died when it like collapsed, right?
Yeah, so it was like 10 days before Christmas,
Mm.
and it's been a long time since I've like seen these videos, but like people talking about the Mothman showing up
Mm.
in like documentaries and stuff, and they were like the bridge was really crowded because it was it was the week before Christmas, so like everybody was out and about shopping and driving around, and like, I can't remember how many people died. I have to look that up.
All right, so this probably should have been a question I asked earlier, but when was the first time you heard of Mothman?
Probably you probably said something to me about it, but the first like anything investigative I heard about it was probably last podcast on the left. So like a very, very long time ago.
Yeah, I think I have some memory of hearing about it on Coast to Coast ages ago, and then I guess like that Lost Tape show. That's probably
Oh my god, that show scares the shit out of me.
the one where it does like a guy who's like trying to warn people he sees the Mothman or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the first time I heard about it. If it wasn't Coast to Coast, but I'm pretty sure it was Coast to Coast with Art Bell back in the day. Something about Mothman. I don't remember the exact details, but I'm pretty sure he did a show on it. But like, what? Why is Mothman? Here's a question: why is Mothman so popular compared to other crypto beings?
I think it's because they made a legitimate book and movie about it. And that had like popular actors in it.
Isn't the movie supposed to suck though?
I think it sucks.
Yeah, I haven't.
I've never seen it, but like Richard Gere's in it, and this is like after Pretty Woman, Richard Gere. So it's like popular.
I've never seen it or read the book. They had a bunch of stuff about the book and the movie in the museum, but
I also think like the town is such like you were there with me.
Mhm.
It's such a small town, and like they don't really have a lot of stuff there, and I think that is like a huge part of their tourism, and they've just like pushed like the legend of the Mothman so hard,
Mhm.
and tried to make it popular, and I think it's worked.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the place was crowded. Like, if we would have arrived like 10, 15 minutes after we did, we'd have had to park behind that little bridge going into town and had to walk half a mile to get to where all
Yeah.
the booths were. So, I mean, it's an extremely
Mm-hmm.
popular festival.
But I also think a lot of that is also social media, because I did hear like several people talking about how it's gotten really popular in like the past 5 or 6 years. So
Yeah, I mean,
that could be part of
it's
it too.
definitely established itself as one of like the top crypto.
It was probably like
Things.
a weird local it probably started out as like a really weird local festival, if I had to guess.
Probably. It's just I don't know. It's a different. It's way different than something like a Bigfoot or like other creatures because this is like a singular creature that's apparently been around since what the 60s or 70s. So something different.
Yeah, so the bridge collapsed December 15th, 1967, and it happened during rush hour on the Silver Bridge connecting Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Gallipolis, Ohio. I guess that's how you pronounce that. And it
Mhm.
collapsed during rush hour, and there were 46 deaths.
46 people died.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I've heard something about the like him hanging like he lives in an abandoned military base underground or something. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, so the theory, quote unquote theory, was that there was all these World War II TNT bunkers,
Mm-hmm.
like not in town, but like on the outskirts of town.
Yeah.
And I want to say that they said that he lived out there because there was like this was before the bridge collapse. There was like a sighting of him, and they like followed him to this TNT area. There's these gigantic like concrete bunkers that are built into the ground.
Yeah.
They're like partially exposed, but they're like partially dug into the ground. And they're like, he lives here because it's abandoned and it's dark.
So
And then they're like, oh, the military secretly invented Mothman or created Mothman.
Oh, so it's like just a bunch of like fanfic stuff.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, he's definitely dominating the crypto world for the past probably decade. But yeah, we've like I said, MTS After Dark. It's literally like a 10 to 20 minute little segment we're gonna be doing. Who knows how many we'll do. But just talking about the weird, creepy stuff. Our next one's gonna be about haunted houses, our personal experiences, and things of that nature. I want to thank Fernie for being with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it took a little long, but thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're gonna shut her down. We will see y'all later. Remember, if you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like it, dislike it, leave us a mean comment. We're used to it. And we'll see you for the next MTS After Dark later.
Be easy. I'm sensitive.